Welcome to part three of welcome to the series where we'll be looking at aorta extraction using micro CT scans in Analyze Direct 14. This is part three of the stitching process, and this time we'll be looking at how to stitch once you've already segmented both the top and bottom files separately. As I've already stated, it's a lot easier to start segmenting once you've already stitched both files together. But in some cases, if you didn't notice yet, you could have accidentally started segmenting both of them separately and then found out later. Um, anyways, hereby I have both the top and bottom files completely segmented. This is the bottom file, and this is the top file. And now this method is actually just a combination of part one and part two of the stitching process. So we'll start by padding this again using the transform module. There we go. We'll be padding it with roughly 300 voxels with disabled equal padding, pad volume. And hereby we don't just want to save the volume file, but also the object map. So I'm going to call this padded. Oh, select all of it, and I call it padded bot save volume. And then we're going to save the object map as and save it into our tutorial folder. Padded bot save. Again, we're going to start registering this using the register module, just like part two. Cancel object map load, and hereby we want to load in our padded bottom file for the base tutorial padded bottom, and there it is. So now we both have the aorta and the padded bottom as well as the top volumes, and we're going to do the registering all over again, just like in part two. We can do this based on thresholding. Roughly find the same values. Show thresholds. That is pretty similar. There we go. As well as changing the match sample region to roughly here. And then just click on registering. And there we go, perfectly registered. And in this case, we're going to save the transformed file instead of the fuse file. The transformed file just means that we're going to save the top volume that has been transformed by spatially moving them so that it matches the bottom file. We're going to call this top transformed. Save transformed, as well as the object map, which correlates to this one. I want to specify a name and location, and I'm going to put this in the tutorial file as well. I'm going to call this top transformed. Save. So now we have the top transformed and we have the padded bottom. And now, once again, we are going to find the common slice in between this. So we're going to open both of them in transform. There we go. In here, we're going to have to open the top transform file. Yes, there we go. Perfect. And once again, we're going to have to find the common slice. And once again, I am going to use the pancreas. I love the pancreas. It's such a hard working organ. finding the top of the pancreas, small speckle, and where the arteries align. Perfect. Hereby this is slice 223, so we're going to change this to 223. Extract subvolume. Perfect. And we are going to crop it here as well, because I don't like this. 167. 167. Extract subvolume. Boom. And hereby this was 223. So we're going to subregion this to 222. So subvolume. See if there's anything at the bottom. And there isn't. Perfect. Now we're going to have to save this volume, create new workspace volume, top transformed subregion, subvolume, palette bot, subregion, and we're going to have to save their corresponding object maps as well. Current directory, subregion, and here as well. Now we can close these two again. And we can append this again by clicking your right mouse button, clicking append, don't unload, and then you get the appended files. And let's see if I did this in the correct order. Cancel the object map load. There we go. That is our registered volume, just like that. But our object maps aren't appended, which is a very big factor. And that is because you have to append them separately. So to do that, first we have to make sure that in the object map there's only the aorta selected, and all other objects that are not relevant are deleted. And that is no problem. There we go. All of them are gone, and then we have to save this separately. We save object map as, and then we do this into top transform subregion aorta. Yes, yes. We do the same for the paddlebot subregion file. Segment, delete, 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 and delete. File, save object map as, current directory. There we go. Yes. And now we can open both of these using the input-output module. We select both top transform subregion and the padded bot subregion. Go into process, intensities, disable the color map, and now you can load it in. The load volume. For this one, we also do no color map, and we overwrite. And there you see that both of them have loaded in perfectly. Now we can select both of them again, press append, don't unload, click on display, and there's our appended object map, the full aorta from the aortic root all the way down to the iliac bifurcation. An important part is that we have to save this object map, which we will do using the input-output module. You can press on yes, start in save mode, save as a 3D volume, and format as an object map. There we go. And then we can go into our appended volume, open it in display, cancel the object map load, load object map, current directory, appended files, open, yes. And there we have our appended volume with our appended object map. Perfect. That is it for part 3 of stitching. Now I've shown you all the different ways of stitching, making use of both the transform module as well as the registering module, and finally also using the append function. After this, the last video will be analyzing our datasets using the measure module.